Okay, let's proceed with inspecting elements using class name. So this one is quite interesting. After doing some research, I'll basically explain to you what research I made. But guys, if you performed other research, leave a comment below. I like to learn from you guys as well. So I like to hear your thoughts as well. Okay, so let's go ahead to our VS Code. Let's create another couple lines here. And let's say locating using class name locator or method. Okay, so now let's go back and let's locate the password text box again, but this time using class name. So I'm gonna go ahead and just comment line 24 and 25 because I want to locate it again but differently. Okay, so I've already located the password text box using name, but now I want to use class name. Okay, so let's do driver, okay, dot find element by dot class name. Okay, and this class name method expects a string argument. I'm gonna go ahead and close this with a semicolon here. Okay, now which string argument though? That's the interesting part, because looking at the developer tools or the HTML information of web elements, there's actually no attribute called class name. Okay, we actually have to use the name of the class attribute. Okay, and I'm going to really enjoy showing you this example because we'll also learn something interesting about using class. Okay, so just make a note of this. When you are using class name, right, you have to use the attribute value of class attribute right here, and this is the attribute of the class attribute. Okay, this is the attribute value of the class attribute. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this, right? But the interesting thing here is if you see this, there's actually a space here. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to VS Code, and actually let's store this in a web element, but first I'm going to paste the attribute value here, and I'm going to paste this I'm going to store this in a web element, call it I'll call it the same thing, password text box, just like this. Okay, and yep, we're good there. Okay, so I'll come here and I'll do password text box dot send keys, and I'll go ahead and enter the password 123456. So from the looks of it here, I am expecting Selenium to locate this password text box using class name. Okay, and I want Selenium to send 123456 to that password text box. I'm gonna go ahead and format my code just to kind of organize it a bit. I'll do that doing Control-Shift-F or Command-Shift-F. This will work if you have the Eclipse key map extension installed. Okay, so there it is. I formatted this code. Now I'm gonna go ahead and run this program. Let's see what happens. Okay, so Chrome browser instantiates. Okay, the username gets sent, and then the password doesn't get sent. Okay, so it didn't work. So let me go back here and exit this out. And if we look at the debug console, okay, we see a stack trace message. Okay, so it says right here, exception in thread main, in the main method. Okay, we're getting an exception called invalid selector exception. And the message here says compound class not permitted. Okay, so here, when we were locating this element here, this class name, a compound class means that the attribute value of the class attribute has a space. Okay, and Selenium won't be able to work with that. Okay, so if you have a class right here, for example, the class attribute right here, if you look at the DOM right here, right away you should know that you won't be able to use class name. You can use it differently. I'll show you how when we start writing XPaths, but when you see this, this is a compound class and you won't be able to locate this element using this space here. Now if it didn't have a space, you would be able to use it just fine without any issues. Okay, but for the most part, these Selenium exceptions, okay, like for example the invalid selector exception, Selenium does a pretty good job at telling you what went wrong with your code, and it even tells you where in your class that failure, that exception, where that exception was thrown, okay, or where that failure happened, which is right here. Okay, so in the following videos, when we cover how to write XPaths, we're going to come and revisit this example to show you how we can actually use class and the attribute value of class with an XPath, and it would work. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next video.